work with people experiencing homelessness and people who have substance use issues, people with mental illness in a general clinic in St. Kilda. And I want to talk about my one of my clients. We'll call him Jay, who I worked very intensely with him for over 3 years, really. He had a chronic mental illness. He had lots of supports in terms of GPs and psychiatrists. He came to me mainly just for kind of a general support and someone to talk to when he was feeling down and low. And he told me, it came out relatively early in our therapeutic relationship, that he was misusing some of his prescription medications. And Xanax or alprazolam especially was one that he'd doctor shop to get more scripts for. And the strange thing is he was on these medicines every day, and you know, he'd take a little more one day, a little less the next, and didn't have any problems. However, he started mixing in with some of the opiates, with MS-Contins and methadone and buprenorphine, and over-the-counter medicines like Panadine. And it was, he passed away at his mother's place. She awoke to find him deceased, with him halfway trying to get out of bed, and she had no idea. No sound, just gone the next day in the middle of the night. And the autopsy results showed there was no toxic amounts of any of the one medicine. It was just a combination of them all. And again, they were medicines that he'd been on for a very long time. He was 36 years old. He was a very talented musician. And yeah, I miss him. We constantly talked about, you know, the dangers of, you know, using even just the medicines he was on. I think a lot of time he kind of mixed up psychological pain with physical pain, and so he'd try to treat his psychological pain as if it was a physical pain, so he'd use medications to do that. As a result, would just make the psychological pain usually a little worse, and so he'd take a little more medicine, and it just slowly crept up on him. I'm sure he would tell you that what he was doing was not good for his health, and that he was dependent on some of these substances to a degree. But again, they were prescribed by his doctor for his mental illness. So maybe he never really realized that there was a balance, that a tightrope that he was walking, of getting benefit from the medications versus them potentially hurting him. Yes, I've definitely been worried, and I've expressed this worry onto clients, but it's almost like I have to tell them that their doctor is wrong, and so I'm having to give them the education and let them make the decision. But it is really, especially, and I've seen it a few times where people have more than one doctor, and there's no one's purposely trying to fool anyone, but the one doctor doesn't know obviously what the other doctor's prescribing, and medicines have two names, and people sometimes just don't realize that they are doubling up on their medicines, on the same family of medicine. It doesn't have to be the exact same medicine. If you use a downer with another downer, it's not just like taking extra of one of them. You really get a kind of a exponential increase in the effect of depressing your breathing or whatnot. And same thing with uppers. They kind of they don't just add up; they actually multiply the effect. Yes, I think it would be beneficial if people knew how long the drug stayed in their system, and more importantly that if people realize that the health of their liver really determines kind of how long any medicine will stay in your system. And if your liver goes down for whatever reason, then it'll increase the drug levels and they'll stay in your system longer. I don't think a lot of people realize that. And again, it's with doubling up on any substances, really. Almost everything is broken down by the liver, and if you give your liver enough of a workout, it'll just be overpowered and drug levels will rise to toxic amounts and injure you. I don't think people worry as much about overdosing on prescription medicines as with street substances, just because it is prescribed by, by a doctor, and I think they feel that that means that it must be safe, it must be okay if a doctor's prescribing it. But this is not necessarily the case. People can always get second opinions from pharmacists and other healthcare practitioners, nurses, community health nurses. A lot of information out there, and unfortunately a lot of healthcare providers do not give information about the medications in easy to understand language. But the NPS, the National Prescribing Service, is actually written in easy to understand language. There's also books in the library out there. The Australian Drug Guide is actually an excellent one where it's just in easy to understand English, not this study says this and this study says that. It actually tells you this medicine you can take with food, this medicine you cannot take with food, this medicine interacts with the following medicine. So it's, there are better sources of information out there. I would hope that, the doctors out there change the way they prescribe and maybe give more information, or if they are going to start someone on a new drug, then give them some written information in easy to understand language, and then have that second safety net of pharmacists and nurses out there to educate anyone who falls through that gap, and especially in my own role working with people who have substance use issues, it's a lot of times that the information is known, but it's not believed because information is given almost sometimes to scare people. It's not really given in the honest form of, no, you won't, you're not going to die right away from this, but this is what's happening. And once they've been scared and told that, yeah, if you do this, it's gonna kill you, but then it doesn't, then I think it denudes the trust they have with their health practitioner. So if I had one wish and hope, it would be that people, both doctors and clients, trusted each other. I think that would eliminate a lot of the problems. I don't think people are aware that how many people are at risk, and how many people do just accidentally take the wrong medicine, or don't realize that another medicine is the same thing, or they don't realize that it will interact with alcohol or other substances and end their life. Yeah.